Welcome to the Flagship Studio on the third day of the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference. I am joined here by Conley Chee, who's the CEO of Syros Pharmaceuticals, and is joining us in the studio for the first time this year. We're delighted to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being here, and JPM is always an exciting time, so
Great.
it's been fantastic.
Wonderful. Conley, let's start on a personal note, actually.
Okay.
You took the helm of Syros just about a month ago,
Right.
but it's not the first time that you've joined the company. You joined about 2 or so years ago to lead the commercial business. So tell us a little bit about what excites you the most about your new role.
Yeah, so I've really enjoyed my time at Syros for the last 2 years. As you said, I've been focused on the commercial efforts and the BD&L efforts of Syros, and recently in December, I moved into this new role, which is incredibly exciting. Maybe a little more exciting than I had originally thought because we had released data about 2 days after I took over the helm,
Wow.
followed by a financing role as well, or a financing event as well. And so it's been a fantastic first 30 days, I would say. And, working with such inspired people at Syros is just, it makes you just want to go to work every day. And so we've
Good.
had a great time so far.
Great. Great. Well, Syros is one of the most mature companies in our flagship ecosystem with a clinical stage asset in 2 different forms of blood cancer. For those of us who are new to the Syros story, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about the company and your area of focus.
Yeah, so Syros was created about 11 years ago, focused on genomically guided targeted therapies. And as you said, through organic growth and a few very specific acquisitions of products, our lead compound is tamibarotene.
hmm
And tamibarotene is used in AML and MDS, of which we both have trials for, and it's focused on patients with RARA overexpression. And
What
so,
does rah-rah overexpression mean?
yeah, it's very catchy,
Yeah,
RARA
tell us more about
overexpression.
that.
Yeah, so it stands for retinoic acid receptor alpha.
Okay.
And so what happens is these patients have an overexpression of RARA, and our drug actually acts as an agonist to bind to the overexpression of it,
hmm
to normalize it, and so that the blood cells can transform itself and differentiate and grow normally. Without it, the RARA overexpression causes blast cells and causes these forms of diseases.
And how common is that rah-rah overexpression in these blood cancers that you're focused on?
Yeah, so in MDS, it's 50% overexpression.
Okay.
And in AML, it's 30% of patients have this. So it's although it's a targeted therapy, it's actually quite pronounced and a
Okay.
significant unmet need, I would say.
Great, great. And I understand that you had some really exciting data that you mentioned earlier come out in December
Yeah.
in that AML patient population. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have a phase 2 currently ongoing. It's our first randomized data that we've been able to show in this space. It's an 80-patient trial. We showed the first 20 patients or so. And what we saw was that in these RARA overexpressors, where we're using tamibarotene on top of the standard of care, which is venetoclax and azacitidine,
hmm
there's a 100% CR/CRI rate.
Wow.
Yeah, versus versus venetoclax and azacitidine alone was 70%.
Okay.
And what's I think even more exciting is that the CR rates, which are the complete responses and those most likely to sort of signal overall survival, it was 78% in the triplet arm versus 30% in the
Oh,
doublet.
that's a big jump. So you're almost supercharging
That's
the
right.
current standard of care.
Yeah, we're very excited about the efficacy. I would note the other thing that we were really focused on was the safety aspect, because
Sure.
venetoclax and azacitidine are very difficult drugs to give together.
Mm,
And our hope was that adding tamibarotene would drive not only efficacy, but not add any sort of additional adverse events. What we saw was that there was no added side effects with the addition of tamibarotene. In fact, when we look at the hematological profile, we saw actually a bit of a reduction in some of the side effects in the triplet arm
oh,
versus the
wow.
doublet. Now, we'll see if that holds out in
Yeah.
the 80 patients, but it's very exciting
Yeah.
initial signal of that.
That's great. And tell me a little bit about how you hope or how you might hypothesize that that could play out for patient care. What does that mean for patients and the treating physicians?
Yeah, so as I said, tamibarotene on top of the standard of care could really increase the efficacy for these patients that are sorely needed a new therapy. And if we don't add side effects to it, then it's really a home run for them.
Wonderful. What are you most excited about coming into 2024?
Well, in 2024, from a company perspective, we will have our pivotal data in MDS, which is the other indication. That's a phase 3 that we're running against azacitidine versus tamibarotene and azacitidine combination. We will have that pivotal data potentially in Q4,
Okay.
mid Q4. And if it's positive, we're going to file on that and really grow up into a commercialized company, hopefully. So that's really exciting for us.
Wow. So a big milestone year potentially for Syros
Tremendous.
ahead.
Yeah, tremendous year potentially.
Great. Well, thank you so much for telling us about it, and we're looking forward to watching the progress.
Pleasure being here. Thank you.
Great.